Everyone in the performance hall directed their attention to Chun Xiao. No way. What he said is true. What on earth is his background? He just made a phone call that changed the broadcasting format. Initially perceived as pretentious, he turned out to be a genuine heavyweight. The host, still on the ground, was dumbfounded. After years in the industry, he understood the significance of someone who could achieve such a feat with a single phone call. Li Mengyuan was perplexed. Hadn't her godfather mentioned rescheduling the recording for another day? On stage, her mentors were present, 3 of whom approached Chun Xiao with radiant smiles, greeting him warmly. Chun Xiao exchanged a few casual pleasantries before waving goodbye to Gu Shu, who remained seated and descended from the stage. Gu Shu responded with a smile, secretly astonished by the impressive energy of this young man. Zhang Yanqi was completely entranced. To her, her senior was indeed remarkable and formidable. Yet she had not anticipated such extraordinary prowess. With a single phone call, the tides had turned. She quickly took several deep breaths to calm her excitement as she prepared for her own performance. With Chun Xiao's identity revealed, he could no longer return to his previous seat. The bodyguard moved the chair to a dead angle of the camera, a spot offering an excellent view. Chun Xiao casually took a seat there. Soon, all departments were ready, and the finals resumed. The first to take the stage was Jiang Yingtong. Previously, her singing style was characterized by gaze directed at a 45-degree angle, exuding allure and aloofness. Now, however, her heartfelt glances lingered predominantly on Chun Xiao. Chapter 263. The champion, a sultry female singer, seemed to dance solely for herself, her captivating performance creating an enchanting atmosphere. Chun Xiao savored the moment with ease and grace. Suddenly, the radio station transformed the competition into a live broadcast format, with rankings determined by online voting, which left many momentarily stunned. Yet, the online audience surged to a staggering 1 million. Such a vast audience could undoubtedly represent the will of the majority. The quality of the performances would be judged solely by the masses, epitomizing the fairest competition possible. Once Jiang Yingtong concluded her song, she gazed at Chun Xiao for several seconds before taking her bow and exiting the stage. She garnered 780,000 votes from 1 million viewers, earning widespread recognition. The audience in the live stream fluctuated but consistently hovered around the 1 million mark. The second contestant, of average appearance and voice, struggled to captivate attention. Chun Xiao frequently evaded her flirtatious glances, unsure if her performance was merely lackluster or if he was distracted. Ultimately, she scored only 590,000 votes, which paled in comparison to the first round. Following her exit, Zhang Yanqi took the stage. Her appearance ignited a fervent atmosphere, and a barrage of comments in the live stream exploded. Some fans were typing furiously, flooding the screen with her name. As she stepped onto the stage, her gaze never strayed from Chun Xiao, as if he were her sole audience in the grand auditorium. Her voice remained as sweet as ever, yet infused with even deeper emotion than before. The audience could feel the profound sentiments woven into her song. With each note, she shattered countless hearts, for they understood that the love and admiration expressed in her voice were directed solely at the man sitting apart beneath the stage. Chun Xiao, in turn, felt this connection, listening with a smile until the end, then rising to applaud, which ignited a thunderous ovation throughout the venue and sent the comments into a frenzy. In a brief moment, Zhang Yanqi triumphed with an impressive score of 900,000 votes, far surpassing the second-place contender. Upon seeing the results, a captivating smile spread across Zhang Yanqi's face. She graciously bowed to the audience and blew a kiss to Chun Xiao before joyfully exiting the stage, provoking a wave of murmurs among the spectators below. Finally, it was Li Mengyuan's turn to take the stage. The recent farce on stage was known only to those present, while she still retained a considerable number of fans in the online streaming room. However, her standing paled in comparison to Zhang Yanqi. Once on stage, her gaze toward Chun Xiao was somewhat evasive, her heart filled with trepidation. This was a live broadcast, and she was acutely aware of her own capabilities. Singing without the support of a skilled sound engineer would undoubtedly reveal her true level. But what choice did she have? To abstain from singing entirely? Regardless of her hesitation, the accompaniment had already begun to play. Li Mengyuan had no option but to sing. At first, the audience did not perceive anything amiss, assuming she was merely showcasing a unique vocal style she had invented. However, after a few lines, the truth became apparent. Goodness, is this truly Li Mengyuan? Her voice does not sound like this. This is clearly lip-syncing. Typically, lip-syncing improves with performance, Have you ever encountered a situation where the lip sync is worse than the original? Could it be that her previous performance was also a facade? The online streaming room was inundated with comments and discussions. The audience on-site whispered among themselves. Standing on stage, Lee Mingyuan acutely felt the palpable tension in the atmosphere. The more they murmured, the more anxious she became, leading her performance to deteriorate further, resulting in several notes being sung off-key. Even the mentors shook their heads in disapproval. Chen Xiao smiled faintly, knowing that, as expected, Lee Mingyuan's star journey would reach its conclusion today. Once her performance concluded, Lee Mingyuan achieved a score of 180,000, a testament to the fact that some fans are indifferent to the talent of their idols, driven solely by fervent admiration, commonly referred to as obsessed fans. The results were clear. The newly appointed host of the television station announced that Zheng Enki had been crowned the champion of the 2010 Happy Female Voice competition, with Jiang Yingtong securing the runner-up position. The contestant who originally placed fourth was elevated to third. Regardless of Lee Mingyuan's standing, she found herself ensnared in a maelstrom of public scrutiny, unable to extricate herself. As the dust settled, Chen Xiao rose with a smile, accompanied by his bodyguard as they departed the entertainment hall. Once outside, he lit a cigarette. The events surrounding the Happy Female Voice program were merely the tip of the iceberg regarding the issues plaguing the Ocean Entertainment Group. The conglomerate encompassed various sectors, including film production, cinema chains, variety entertainment, and talent management. If a single talent show was so mired in darkness, one could only imagine the conditions in other areas. This once thriving group, valued in the hundreds of billions, had been ravaged by parasites, leaving it riddled with holes. After finishing his cigarette, Chen Xiao took out his phone and called Su Tang. "Hello, Su Tang. Tomorrow bring along the legal, auditing, and accounting teams to join me at Ocean Entertainment. It is time to cleanse the filth and corruption." "Understood, boss. I will prepare immediately." After hanging up, it was not long before Zheng Enki emerged, her face alight with excitement as she exclaimed, "Senior, thank you." Chen Xiao smiled, saying, "No need for formality. I am merely handling matters pertaining to my company." Zheng Enki exclaimed in surprise, "Your company is?" "Ocean Entertainment Group," Chen Xiao replied. Zheng Enki's mouth dropped open in astonishment as she covered it with one hand. "Ocean Entertainment is your company?" "Indeed, I have only recently taken the reins, and I never anticipated the level of corruption within," Chen Xiao admitted, leaving Zheng Enki momentarily speechless. As someone immersed in the entertainment industry, she was acutely aware of what Ocean Entertainment represented. It could be said that any star the company chose to promote, regardless of their talents, be it singing, dancing, acting, or variety, would be propelled to the forefront of the industry. She could hardly fathom that this colossal entity in the entertainment realm belonged to her senior. Chen Xiao had completely transformed Zheng Enki's perception of him. Initially, she had viewed him merely as an exemplary student representative, then discovered he was a scion of wealth, and upon meeting him at the television station, realized he was acquainted with the leaders there. Now, she had come to the full realization that she had consistently underestimated her senior. He was, in fact, the captain of a domestic entertainment giant, unaware that this was merely a fraction of Chen Xiao's business ventures, while it currently constituted a significant portion of his assets. That was only temporary. "What's the matter? Why the surprise?" Chen Xiao inquired, his stature genuinely astonishing Zheng Enki. She had previously thought her accomplishments outshone those of her senior, only to discover she still had much to chase after. Now, she found herself gazing up in admiration. "Boss," Zheng Enki finally managed to utter after a prolonged pause. As she was technically an employee of Ocean Entertainment, which was, in strict terms, Chen Xiao's domain, Chen Xiao was at a loss for words. "Silly girl. I am your senior. I would prefer if you refrain from calling me boss." "Oh," Zheng Enki quickly amended. "Senior, I shall treat you to a meal." Chen Xiao chuckled. "No rush. I have arranged to meet Gu Shu as well." Just then, Gu Shu approached with his hands in his pockets, smiling. Chapter 264. The foreboding sense he was not the type to flatter others based on their status. He lived with remarkable nonchalance. This fact was well understood by his millions of fans. "I truly did not expect you to be so elusive," Gu Shu teased. Chen Xiao smiled. "Allow me to formally introduce myself. I am the controlling shareholder of Ocean Entertainment Group, and I hope for the opportunity to collaborate with you in the future." Gu Shu waved his hand. "After I finish recording for the Happy Girls, I plan to retreat for a while. We shall see." Chen Xiao was speechless. But this was characteristic of Gu Shu. "Ha ha. Very well. Shall we find a place to eat and converse?" "Certainly." Gu Shu was not one to indulge in ostentation. and Chun Xiao shared the same indifference, with Zhang Enki playing the role of an eager companion. Thus, the three found a secluded eatery by the river, where they dined and chatted. Curious about Gu Shu's prolonged absence from the music scene, Chun Xiao queried, "Brother Shu, what prompted your extended hiatus from the music industry? Many have lamented your absence." Gu Shu chuckled. "Why? Because I made enough money." Chun Xiao pondered various reasons, but had never anticipated that this would be the cause. "Why'd you return now?" Gu Shu sipped his beer and sighed. "I thought the money I earned would suffice for a lifetime, allowing me to retire comfortably. Yet, I never anticipated that the rampant inflation would deplete my funds before I even reached old age, forcing me back into the fray to earn again." Chun Xiao could hardly contain himself. He never imagined that inflation would drive a soulful singer to such lengths. Gu Shu, feeling dejected, took another sip of his drink. "Laugh if you must. It doesn't bother me." Indeed, Gu Shu's status in the music realm is irreplaceable. Even after years of seclusion, his songs remain indispensable, especially during road trips or at romantic tourist spots. His music is the very essence that completes the experience. He, much like his melodies, embodies ideals and remains untainted by the mundane, except in the face of inflation. The two engaged in lively conversation, with Zhang Enki occasionally pouring more drinks for them. "Brother Shu, whenever you're short on funds, just come to me. I'd love to join you in making some money. Do you still need money?" After speaking, Gu Shu realized Chun Xiao was intentionally making such remarks to offer his assistance. "Let us talk about it later. I want to be lacking in funds in the short term. But if you ever wish to impress or create a spectacle, call me. I revel in such endeavors. They're quite entertaining." Chun Xiao replied, "Then let us wait until I graduate. I'm planning something grand for the graduation party." Gu Shu's eyes brightened. "Make sure to invite me." "Absolutely, it's a promise." The trio conversed until the evening grew late, concluding their gathering. Gu Shu was already slightly inebriated, and Chun Xiao arranged for someone to escort him back to the hotel. Glancing at the time, it was necessary to head to the airport. Zhang Enki remained behind to record upcoming segments and shoot advertisements. The two bid farewell outside the tavern, planning to reconvene at school later. Having arrived not long ago, Chun Xiao boarded the return flight. Without the interruptions from Li Mengyuan this time, he slept soundly throughout the journey. In the first-class cabin, the other two passengers remained silent, taken aback by the presence of Chun Xiao and his entourage of bodyguards. Jining was Chun Xiao's stronghold. Upon arrival, the fleet from Tung, Xiao capital, had been waiting for some time. Stepping off the plane, Chun Xiao yawned as he was escorted by his bodyguards to the car, leaving many behind speculating about the arrival of such a significant figure. After a long journey, Chun Xiao headed straight to Binjiang No. 1. As soon as he entered, Shi Yunru greeted him, gently helping him change into slippers. "You must be tired after flying for several hours." Chun Xiao wrapped his arms around her graceful waist. "It was just 2 hours. I'm not tired, merely eager to see my beauty. My heart yearns to return." Shi Yunru playfully tapped his chest. "You're terrible. You haven't visited in ages." Chun Xiao chuckled. "I've been busy, you see. I've secured a film company to pave the way for your future career in the arts." Shi Yunru embraced Chun Xiao's neck and kissed him tenderly. "Chun Xiao, thank you." Don't just thank me with words. I mean for your future career. Doesn't it require a future?" Shi Yunru was momentarily taken aback, her face flushing. "You're insufferable, always taking advantage. Ha ha ha. Come, let me assess your acting skills." With that, the room erupted in joyous laughter. Chun Xiao had been asleep throughout the journey, but now the effects of the wine had worn off, and his spirits were high. Shi Yunru's acting had become increasingly refined, captivating Chun Xiao to the point that he couldn't help but nod in approval. Of course, such risky performances bore little relevance to her future career. Only Chun Xiao was deemed worthy of appreciation. Acting is indeed a physically demanding endeavor, and Chun Xiao found himself quite exhausted after more than an hour of viewing. The two collapsed on the terrace, embracing one another while counting the stars. Occasionally, they could hear the low horn of a ship on the Chongqing River. The next day, Su Tang arrived with a large entourage to meet Chun Xiao. Among them were auditors from the Big Four accounting firms and members of the company's finance department. The security detail consisted of 70 to 80 personnel. A grand convoy made its way to the headquarters of the Fan Hai Entertainment Group without any prior notification. The fleet filled the courtyard, and as 100 or so individuals disembarked, they surged directly into the Fan Hai Entertainment Group. "Who are you?" The security at Fan Hai Entertainment attempted to intervene, only to be sidelined by the bodyguards of He Dun Security, who identified themselves, prompting the guards to relent. Su Tang had already assigned tasks before her arrival. The auditors, finance, and legal personnel accompanied by security, dispersed to the financial office, archives, and other areas. Other security members secured various access points to prevent anyone from taking vital documents or destroying evidence. Chen Xiao headed straight for the office. Inside, Lu Hong of Fanhai Entertainment was entangled with a stunning woman. Upon Chen Xiao's arrival, he had seized control of all communications, leaving Lu Hong unaware of the unfolding situation. The office door burst open, startling Lu Hong, who hastily set the woman aside. "Who are you? How dare you intrude upon my office?" he exclaimed angrily. Chen Xiao was taken aback. "Li Mengyuan, you returned quite swiftly, even before I did." Li Mengyuan looked bewildered. What was going on? Why was this person seemingly haunting her? He was the one who had disrupted her victory at the Happy Female Voice competition. During his time at the television station, Chen Xiao had deliberately instructed his team to bypass the management of Fanhai Entertainment, opting for direct contact with the heads of the subsidiary companies. Thus, Lu Hong was completely oblivious to the circumstances. He assumed the disruptions to the Happy Female Voice program stemmed from issues within the station. Now, hearing Li Mengyuan accuse him of causing the chaos, he sensed trouble brewing. Chapter 265, You'd Best Step Inside. Who exactly are you? Lu Hong questioned, his unease deepening. Chen Xiao smiled, knowing that all departments have been secured, eliminating any concern about leaks. Who I am is of little consequence. You will soon find out. Your current dilemma, however, is whether you still recognize who you are. Lu Hong's apprehension intensified as he observed the young individuals before him, their gazes imbued with an air of superiority. "I don't understand what you're saying." Chen Xiao chuckled. "Not understanding is no matter. You will surely comprehend shortly. Utilizing company resources, maintaining relationships with female celebrities, and manipulating talent shows are not insurmountable issues. I sincerely hope that you can manage the financial aspects with integrity. Otherwise, have you heard of Quanta Law Firm? I would be more than willing to engage their professional services on your behalf." Lu Hong was taken aback, realizing from the tone of the conversation that this group might belong to Tongxiao Capital, a firm known for its indifference towards subsidiary companies. "Dare I ask if you're the general manager of Tongxiao Capital?" Chen Xiao stepped aside, and Su Tang, momentarily stunned, coldly replied, "I am Su Tang, the general manager of Tongxiao Capital." Lu Hong was instantly dumbfounded, recalling that Li Mengyuan had mentioned that the other party was acquainted with Su Tang. As he gazed at the man who shadowed Su Tang, she continued, "This is Mr. Chen Xiao, the chairman of Tongxiao Capital." Lu Hong's mind bust. He turned to look at Li Mengyuan, realizing that this woman had offended his direct superior, the ultimate boss. Outside the door, he spotted numerous staff members from one of the big four accounting firms bustling about, filling him with a sense of despair. The professionalism of these top international auditors was beyond question. How could his company's financial misdeeds possibly evade their scrutiny? Li Mengyuan, too, felt a chill of fear. She understood that she had encountered insurmountable obstacles, but was unaware of the relationship between Ocean Entertainment Group and Tongxiao Capital. Lu Hong glanced at the woman who had brought about this turmoil, his anger flaring. It was all her doing. "Get out. Be quiet." Li Mengyuan trembled, suddenly too afraid to speak. Chen Xiao, seated in the executive chair, surveyed the room and thought, "Damn, this office is nearly as grand as mine. They certainly know how to indulge." Lu Hong took a deep breath, adopting a sycophantic demeanor. "Chairman, I was unaware that Zheng Enki was your friend. I apologize. It was my mistake." Chen Xiao waved his hand dismissively. "Do you think that without the incident involving Li Mengyuan, I would not investigate you? Do you truly believe Tongxiao Capital is indifferent to Ocean Entertainment?" Naive, despite holding a high position, Lu Hong was merely an employee, his mindset perpetually lagging behind the pace of capital. He had no inkling that everything was merely an illusion within the game of capital. Now, as matters settled, Tongxiao Capital revealed its true nature and commenced its reckoning. "Chairman Shun, may I have a word with you?" Chen Xiao frowned slightly, contemplated, and replied, "Su Tang and Lei Ting may stay. The rest of you, please wait outside." Yes. Soon, only Lu Hong, Chen Xiao, and Su Tang remained in the office. "Speak your mind," Chen Xiao said. Lu Hong responded, "Chairman Shun, the previous events were indeed a misunderstanding. I request an opportunity to internally resolve this matter." Chen Xiao, intrigued, inquired, "What do you propose for internal resolution?" Lu Hong chuckled nervously. "I will return some company assets and ensure that such mistakes do not occur again in the future." Chen Xiao nearly burst into laughter. "What? Are you suggesting that you acknowledge wrongdoing, but only partially, believing your actions to be trivial while still wishing to retain your position?" Lu Hong nodded with a smirk. "Chairman Shun, I am merely considering the interests of the group. After all, with so many projects in hand, films, television series, and variety shows. If I let go now, it would be difficult for an outsider to take over. Ah, I see. Are you attempting to threaten me? Do you believe yourself to be indispensable? Chen Xiao adjusted his posture and chuckled. No, not at all. I merely excel at discerning which of these numerous projects hold value for investment. That is my expertise, Lu Hong replied. Chen Xiao waved his hand dismissively. If this is what you intend to convey, you may as well cease your words. Lu Hong was taken aback. He had not anticipated such arrogance from this young man, who seemed utterly indifferent to the company's future, leaving no room for negotiation. After a moment's contemplation, he added, Chairman, the significant partner of Panhai Entertainment, Shutian Entertainment Group, collaborates solely with me. If I no longer serve the group, Shutian Entertainment? What is its significance? Chen Xiao inquired. Seizing the opportunity, Lu Hong eagerly replied. Shutian Entertainment has a mysterious background. It is an enterprise under the Wang family. Chairman, you're aware of the Wang family, are you not? Initially, Chen Xiao had listened with interest, but upon hearing the mention of the Wang family, his expression darkened. Lu Hong, had you compensated the company for its losses? I might have shown some leniency, considering your middle age, the schooling of your children, the care of your elderly, and your wife's need for a comfortable lifestyle. However, now that you have invoked the Wang family, you shall face the consequences. Su Tang, please place an order with Quanta Law Firm. Lu Hong was taken aback. Chairman, why is that? Ignoring him, Chen Xiao continued. From this moment forward, Panhai Entertainment shall cease all cooperation with Shutian Entertainment Group and draw a clear line of demarcation. Yes, boss, Su Tang affirmed before exiting the office. Shortly thereafter, a group of individuals entered, each clutching a folder, and lined up before Chen Xiao. The documents contained records of projects currently facing investment decisions. Chen Xiao scrutinized each one, many familiar titles catching his eye. The well-known titles indicated a certain level of influence, while those he had never heard of were undoubtedly flops. For a reborn individual, discerning which films and television shows would succeed was astonishingly simple. Before long, Chen Xiao had selected a substantial number of projects, television dramas such as The Legend of Zhen Huan, Scarlet Heart, and We Are Special Forces, alongside films like If You Were the One and overseas productions such as Pirates of the Caribbean, Deadpool, Kung Fu Panda 2, and Thor. He set aside the chosen projects and remarked to Lu Hong, You see, your job is so simple that I could easily take your place. Lu Hong, feeling indignant, remained silent. Chen Xiao continued, Remember these project names. We shall see their true worth upon release. Oh, I wonder if one can access entertainment news from prison. Chapter 266. The global steel situation on the very first day of the audit. It was discovered that multiple departments within Panhai Entertainment Group had violated company regulations and mismanaged funds. The financial records were riddled with discrepancies, including falsified accounts and embezzlement of public funds for personal gain, especially during the period of Atlantic Capital Group's withdrawal until Chen Xiao took over. Various nefarious activities ran rampant, largely due to a lack of oversight and concern. The Quanta Law Firm thus found itself handling a significant case. The rampant occupational and economic crimes within the Ocean Entertainment Group were overwhelming. Zhang San, leading his team, plunged into the Ocean Entertainment Group, taking on all cases with full authority. With the complete cooperation of various departments, those implicated within Ocean Entertainment were apprehended, judged, and dealt with accordingly. Simultaneously, Su Tang reached out to 3 top headhunting firms in the country to fill the management vacancies at Ocean Entertainment. After such upheaval, the headhunting fees alone amounted to 20 million, with legal fees exceeding 20 million as well. Consequently, 38 members of the management team, including Lu Hong, were incarcerated, while 156 individuals were dismissed, recovering losses and penalties that totaled over 500 million. The actions of Ocean Entertainment Group sent shockwaves throughout the industry. The firm's formidable behind-the-scenes leadership instilled fear internally and astonishment externally. After enduring numerous tribulations, Ocean Entertainment Group finally rejuvenated itself. Audits would not conclude with this instance, but would occur annually, leading to more standardized processes and heightened financial transparency. The management team was composed entirely of seasoned professionals poached from the industry. Having achieved the desired outcome, Chen Xiao chose to step back, allowing his subordinates to execute the necessary actions. His primary focus remained on the financial market. The steel industry continued to display weakness, with Tong Xiao Capital accumulating over 5 billion in short selling. These stocks flooded the financial market, further suppressing the steel sector. Chen Xiao anticipated that his intervention would cause the steel industry's decline to reach the concealed figure of 15% sooner than expected. However, to his astonishment, someone emerged unexpectedly to stabilize the market. Upon receiving this news, Chen Xiao was taken aback. Who was this audacious individual daring to defy the overarching market trends single-handedly? Su Tang mused privately that the boss had engaged in similar endeavors himself. Regrettably, short selling in the domestic stock market was challenging. Had it been easy, he would have certainly taught that individual a lesson. Now is not yet the time to exert influence, Chen Xiao observed patiently, awaiting the steel industry's decline to approach 15% before initiating his long position. In Yindu, a city where every inch is precious, there existed an individual capable of constructing a grand private estate in the outskirts. Within one of the estate's villas, a group of traders was diligently executing their operations. Wang Ju sat comfortably in an armchair, smoking a cigar while listening to his subordinate's reports. Mr. Wang, it seems Tang Xiao Capital is unable to secure more shares. Wang Ju smiled and nodded, raised the stock price. But the market is currently unfavorable. To uplift the entire steel industry would require substantial capital. Wang Ju addressed a middle-aged man in a Zhongshan suit beside him. Akin, transfer an additional 50 billion. Yes, master. The trader hesitated momentarily. Mr. Wang, 50 billion may not suffice. There are 46 publicly listed companies in the entire industry. Mr. Wang replied, isn't your sector capable of financing? The trader was taken aback. Mr. Wang, leveraging through financing carries enormous risks. Should there be a slight downturn, one might face forced liquidation, leaving no room for escape. Mr. Wang pondered for a moment, then declared, wait a moment, I shall make a call. He retrieved a number and dialed. Hello, Brother Su, I hope you are well. I am inquiring about the current state of the domestic steel industry. Oh, the international capacity is tightening, and prices are unlikely to continue declining, correct? Very well. I appreciate the insight. Do visit me when you have time. I recently acquired a jar of aged pu'er tea and would love to share it with you. Ha ha, goodbye. After hanging up, Mr. Wang radiated confidence and waved his hand dismissively. Do not worry about leveraging. The trader asked Mr. Wang, do you possess some insider information? Mr. Wang chuckled. The current global iron ore production is tightening, raw materials are scarce, and prices are surging. The sluggishness of the steel industry is temporary and will not persist. Feel assured in your purchases. While this may not be insider information, the individual I consulted possesses the capacity to influence the pricing authority within the domestic steel sector. Their identity is quite sensitive, so you need not concern yourself with it. The trader, upon hearing this, refrained from further inquiries. After all, the strategy was his own proposal, and any ensuing risks could not be attributed to another. Understood, Mr. Wang. Upon returning to his post, Mr. Wang's 50 billion had been credited, and as per his instructions, 500 billion was financed, applying a tenfold leverage. Such capital could, albeit modestly, sway the trajectory of an industry within a short span. Mr. Wang eagerly anticipated a swift recovery in the steel sector, envisioning not only a substantial profit, but also the obliteration of short sellers. In the office of Tang Xiao Capital, Chen Xiao observed the market trends on the screen. The steel sector had not only evaded a decline to 15, but had begun a gradual ascent. The buyer's market was exceptionally robust. Coupled with the current scarcity of international iron ore, Chen Xiao began to suspect that the hidden information might have been misinterpreted. The prevailing market conditions were indeed favorable. Previously, many institutions that had lent him stocks, witnessing the favorable market, began to purchase aggressively, thereby increasing their holdings in the steel sector. Chen Xiao now faced two choices: continue to borrow shares to sell off in the steel sector, awaiting a lower price to repurchase for repayment, or remain inactive, minimizing potential losses should the hidden information prove erroneous. After considerable contemplation, Chen Xiao surveyed the circumstances before him and ultimately chose to trust the hidden information. Most of his holdings derived from it. He believed he had no reason to doubt its validity. Su Tang continued with the share borrowing and selling. Yes, the steel market was promising, and there were still parties willing to lend shares. The securities firms were in a remarkably comfortable position. Once they completed their purchases, they would promptly lend to Tang Xiao Capital, simultaneously reaping the benefits of rising prices while collecting interest on the borrowed shares. Both sides profited, reveling in their fortunes. The progress of Tang Xiao Capital's share borrowing was now exponentially swifter than before. In a single day, the stock borrowing surged to 5 billion once again, with a cumulative margin exceeding 10 billion. Meanwhile, the steel industry continued its upward trajectory. Should the prices escalate too dramatically, Chen Xiao would be compelled to repurchase the shares he had previously sold at a much higher price, leading to significant losses. All day long, Chen Xiao was engulfed in anxiety. Until the following day, a piece of news flooded in, igniting his elation. A substantial iron ore vein has been discovered in South Australia, prompting authorities to commence immediate extraction, which will substantially alleviate the global shortage of iron ore. Steel prices are expected to decline. This announcement swiftly transformed the global scenario from one of iron ore scarcity to one of impending surplus. Although the newly discovered iron mine could not be exploited instantaneously, international commodity traders held an enormous reserve of ore. Initially, they had planned to stockpile the iron ore, anticipating a favorable selling price due to its scarcity. However, upon realizing that the strategy controlling iron ore price inflation would soon become ineffective, they promptly began to offload their inventories. In the realm of futures trading, expectations reign supreme. If a decline is anticipated, traders will preemptively sell. The plummeting prices of raw materials consequently led to a decrease in finished product prices. Although the downturn was not extraordinarily severe, the nascent recovery in the domestic steel industry was adversely impacted, with profits dwindling and stock prices following suit. Observing that Tang Xiao Capital was now ensnared in losses, Wang Ju felt a surge of satisfaction. However, the unforeseen twist caught him completely off guard. This was a quintessential black swan event, utterly unpredictable. In a flash, the trader sought out Wang Ju, urging, "Mr. Wang, we should sell off our holdings as soon as possible." Wang Ju furrowed his brow, feeling deeply reluctant. Holding 50 billion in steel industry stocks, a sell-off would only accelerate the decline in stock prices, essentially aiding Chen Xiao indirectly. Yet, as he hesitated, the stock prices in the steel sector collapsed. Mere minutes later, without any decision from Wang Ju, all 46 enterprises hit their daily limit down. Boss, Mr. Wang, it's dire. 46 companies have collectively hit their limit down. The trader exclaimed. Wang Ju replied, "This is fortuitous. There is no need for further hesitation. We are now firmly trapped." On the other side, as Chen Xiao realized a profit of 10, he began to purchase shares in large quantities, subsequently repaying the stocks borrowed from various securities companies, leaving him with a profit of 1 billion. Coupled with his original capital of 5.7 billion, Chen Xiao now commanded a principal of 6.7 billion. Sutang, leverage at tenfold, and continue to invest heavily in the stocks of the 46 companies. Yes, this maneuver was even more audacious than the previous steel market play. It was relatively straightforward. With the entire industry facing a limit down, an overwhelming volume of sell orders flooded the market. Due to Chen Xiao's intervention, the limit down threshold even wavered momentarily. While Wang Ju lacked prowess in the financial market, his connections and access to information far surpassed those of Chen Xiao. It wasn't too long before he learned that Tang Xiao Capital was aggressively acquiring stocks in the market. Wang Ju paid little heed to the situation, acknowledging that Chen Xiao had borrowed a significant number of shares, which indeed required repayment. It was only natural for him to profit from buying in at this juncture. He had to concede that, as an outsider, he had not managed to outmaneuver Chen Xiao in this round of confrontation. Resignedly, he remarked that it was best to cut losses while Chen Xiao was buying in. The trader sighed and proceeded to act according to Wang Ju's instructions. Chen Xiao managed to open a gap in the limit down price, providing an opportunity for countless individuals eager to cut their losses. A flurry of sell orders poured in at the limit down price, and Chen Xiao welcomed them all, absorbing the entire volume. The fierce contest persisted throughout the day. As the market approached the closing bell that evening, Wang Ju breathed a sigh of relief, having finally liquidated all his holdings. From an initial capital of 5 billion, he now found himself with less than 500 million. With a tenfold leverage, a 9-point drop in the financial market translated to a 90-point loss on his principal. After the liquidation, he observed that the steel stock prices remained precariously close to the limit down threshold. Wait, was Tang Xiao Capital still buying? The trader paused and remarked that the trading strategy appeared to be theirs. Wang Ju pondered, wondering if there were others besides Tang Xiao Capital supporting the market. After a moment's reflection, he picked up the phone and soon received news that only Tang Xiao Capital was propping up the steel stocks, with a few minor retail investors not worth considering. Wang Ju was perplexed. If only Tang Xiao Capital was still aggressively purchasing, they should have already acquired enough shares to repay the brokerage. So why were they still buying? Were they betting on a rebound? This seemed implausible. As he was not well versed in the industry, he voiced his doubts. The trader replied, "Unless another black swan event occurs, the current state of the steel industry is unlikely to change easily." Wang Ju hesitated for a moment before asking, "Are black swan events common in your industry?" To which the trader replied, "Not particularly." Wang Ju nodded, still somewhat confused. It was evident that Chen Xiao intended to reverse his position and go long. He would have to short the market. Glancing at the remaining 500 million in his account, he realized it was insufficient. He hesitated, wondering if going short now could recoup his previous losses. The trader replied, "The potential for shorting is limited. It seems quite challenging, but it should be possible to recover some losses." After weighing his options carefully, Wang Ju concluded that not only could he mitigate some losses, but he could also trouble Tung Xiao capital in the process. "I will allocate an additional 1 billion, combined with the remaining 500 million, to short the steel stocks with tenfold leverage." "Understood, Mr. Wang." While Wang Ju was preparing to short the market, the stock market closed for the day. Yet, neither Chen Xiao nor Wang Ju had a moment to rest. Tung Xiao Capital had exhausted its 67 billion yuan budget for purchasing steel industry stocks. However, they did not cease their activities. Instead, they used the Universal Sea Entertainment Group as collateral to borrow substantial funds. Meanwhile, Wang Ju was busy contacting various securities firms, preparing to borrow steel industry stocks to short the market. It was not until deep into the night that Chen Xiao emerged from the Tung Xiao Capital office building. Taking a deep breath of fresh air, he felt an overwhelming sense of relaxation within. The trajectory of the steel market had not deviated from the predictions based on concealed information. Tomorrow will mark the culmination, followed by an immediate resurgence the day after, leading to a gradual increase over the span of 20 days. Chen Xiao is confident that significant news regarding international iron ore will emerge to counterbalance the surplus and adverse market conditions brought about by the large iron ore operations in South Australia and the futures market. Otherwise, the stock market would not inexplicably turn positive. Glancing at the sky, illuminated by the moonlight and sparsely dotted with stars, Chen Xiao contemplated before heading to the villa of Xia Yudi. Ignoring her protests, he carried her out from the esports room to engage in a different, more exhilarating game. "Ah, how annoying. I was in the dungeon," exclaimed Xia Yudi. Chen Xiao chuckled, not particularly familiar with the terminology of the game, but replied, "No matter. I am as well." Xia Yudi retorted, "What I'm saying is different from what you're saying." "Nonetheless, it remains equally enjoyable," he replied, eliciting an eye roll from her. Before long, her struggles diminished, and she ultimately became engrossed in Chen Xiao's game, unable to extricate herself. Xia Yudi, characterized by her sweet and youthful demeanor, exhibited a heightened attachment to Chen Xiao in this context. Being with him evoked an entirely distinct sensation. Her sudden disappearance left her teammates waiting for nearly an hour, only to discover that she had shut down her computer and gone to bed. Exhausted from gaming, she now yearned to curl up in a warm embrace and enjoy a restful slumber, ready to battle again the following day. Chapter 268. If I go, won't there be a shadow? The next day, the steel industry continued to exhibit a weak trend, though it lacked the dramatic plunge witnessed the day prior. Initially, one would expect that the substantial capital from Tung Xiao would face significant challenges entering the market, necessitating cautious accumulation. However, to their astonishment, a major institution was shorting the steel sector, with 46 steel companies experiencing substantial sell orders. The trading team at Tung Xiao, upon noticing this, welcomed the influx of sell orders with open arms. Yet, even as these large sell orders were swiftly absorbed, a vast number of retail investors continued to drive the stock prices lower. In Yindu, Wang Ju observed the unfolding situation, a slight smile curling at the corners of his mouth. He mused to himself, "No wonder so many are drawn to the financial markets. This is indeed exhilarating." Amid their discussion, the entire steel industry plummeted to the anticipated 15 drop that Chen Xiao had forecasted, only to rebound almost immediately. This sudden movement nearly took Wang Ju by surprise. He pointed at the large screen and inquired, "What is happening? Wasn't there an oversupply of raw materials leading to depressed prices? Why are stock prices rising?" The trader appeared dumbfounded. In all his years in the industry, he had never encountered such a scenario. "Wang, are you aware of the black swan I mentioned earlier?" Wang Ju nodded, understanding but curious. "What of it?" The trader seemed at a loss for words. "Have you heard of the double black swan?" Wang Ju, perplexed, responded, "What on earth is a double black swan? I don't comprehend what you're saying." The trader, with a hint of disdain, thought to himself, "Despite your wealth, I refuse to believe you have never visited lesser-known websites." Ahem. It appears another black swan has emerged. Wang Ju queried, "Isn't this occurrence rather common?" The trader, equally bewildered, replied, "It is uncommon. Yet here we are, encountering one daily. What exactly is this black swan?" The trader's insight, Recent news reveals that a significant iron ore deposit has been discovered in South Australia, leading miners to anticipate an increase in their workload. Coupled with the long-standing tensions between labor and management, this has provoked widespread strike actions organized by unions. The unrest swiftly radiated throughout Australia and began to affect other mining regions. This incident has escalated dramatically, leaving the timeline for resuming work uncertain. As a result, those engaged in futures trading, akin to sharks sensing blood in the water, hastily depleted the existing stock of ore in the market, opting not to sell. Wang Zhu found himself speechless. He had only just begun to find the financial market intriguing. Now, that notion has been completely overturned. It appears that every purchase leads to a decline, while every sale triggers a rise. Is it solely targeting him for exploitation? What course of action should be taken now? The trader's insight. The financial market thrives on expectations. Although strikes may not immediately affect the availability of raw materials, the anticipation of scarcity can amplify the influence of international capital magnates. It is possible that the steel industry could witness a substantial surge. Should we consider taking a long position? Wang Zhu retorted, "I'm done. I refuse to engage any longer. This is not a game for mere mortals. If I take a long position, it will inevitably plummet again. Back and forth, I've lost over 5 billion. I have been entrenched in this monopolistic industry for years, and I have never seen such swift losses." The trader, "So, do you intend to cut your losses and exit the market?" Wang Zhu replied, "Listen to the terminology in your industry. It's utterly ruthless. Cut it." The trader affirmed, "Indeed. However, with Tungxiao Capital in the fray, it won't be easy for Wang Zhu to escape. In the steel sector, regardless of which stock, individuals from Tungxiao Capital are present to buy up shares. Consequently, when Wang Zhu attempted to repurchase shares to return to the broker, he found there was little available. The stock prices continued to rise, and by the end of the morning session, half of the 46 listed companies in the sector had hit the upper limit of price increases. Wang Zhu felt a pang of discomfort. His family's wealth was built on decades of accumulation and legacy. Making a loss of over 5 billion in just 2 days unprecedented in their history. While this sum was not exorbitantly large for him, it still stung. Watching the morning trading conclude, Wang Zhu sighed and resolved to attempt to buy in the afternoon. The trader, feeling exasperated, stated, "Mr. Wang, you can no longer purchase." Wang Zhu was taken aback. Why? The prices surged beyond 5%, and the funds are frozen by the broker. Forced liquidation is likely. Wang Zhu exclaimed, "This is fraud. Telecommunication fraud." With that, he kicked open the door and stormed out without looking back. Once outside, he surveyed the estate, which had not cost nearly 50 billion to construct, while he had just witnessed over 55 billion evaporate in mere days. He had intended to thwart Chen Xiao, but ended up thwarting only himself. Damn, if I ever touch the stock market again, may my ancestors be disturbed. For some, there is joy, while for others, there is despair. As Wang Zhu wallowed in frustration, Chen Xiao reveled in excitement. Prior to the market rebound, he had invested over 600 billion. Then he secured an additional 100 billion as collateral, applying 5 times leverage, resulting in a total of 500 billion. And he continued to buy steadily. However, after the market rebounded, it swiftly hit the upper limit, leaving him with no opportunity to purchase. Nevertheless, it mattered little, as the surge was likely to last only a day. From tomorrow until the end of the month, over the next 20 days, a gradual increase of 15% was anticipated. Thus, there was no need for haste. One could take their time. As for the institutions that had previously opposed him, they had long been overwhelmed by the vast financial market, leaving no trace behind. Chen Xiao calculated that this wave of market activity was coming to an end and that there would be no shortage of funds for the time being. The initial batch amounted to 67 billion, supplemented by an additional 50 billion, resulting in a total capital of 117 billion distributed among 46 enterprises. Even a mere 10% profit would yield an impressive 11.7 billion. Delightful. In the financial market, only individuals like him could genuinely enjoy the experience. Others were filled with trepidation, exerting themselves, yet struggling to turn a profit, relying solely on skill and luck. How could anyone possess the acute insight into market trends that Chen Xiao did? Once stability was restored, he found little need for excessive attention. The trading team could operate according to the established strategy. Chen Xiao pulled out his phone and dialed Sun Ing. "Hello, senior. Have you missed me?" Sun Ing rolled her bright eyes and playfully retorted, "It's been quite some time since the holiday passed, wishing 1T help. You should wait for me to return to see you." Hee hee, holidays are merely a state of mind. If one wishes, every day can be a holiday. Sun Ing inquired, "Have you been busy?" Yes, I've been occupied, and we've earned some pocket money for our little one. Sun Ying's cheeks flushed. Stop joking. That's mere fantasy. Chun Xiao chuckled. Well, if I go, doesn't that make it a reality? Chapter 269. A treat is in order, Sun Ying replied. Then come over. I'll be waiting here. All right, see you shortly. Lin Yanran checked the recent flight schedules and found that the next flight to Lijiang was at 8 in the evening. Chun Xiao lamented the inconvenience of not having his own aircraft. Once this market wave concluded, it would be time to acquire a private jet. Perhaps even one wouldn't suffice. Yanran, instruct the Baisha convoy to head to Lijiang Airport in advance. Understood. With the holiday over, Zheng Enki had completed the recording of her program and was eager to call Chun Xiao for a meal upon returning to Jining University. However, her schedule was promptly arranged by the school administration. The institution placed great importance on her achievement of becoming the national champion of the Happy Voice competition. Among countless universities nationwide, it was only the music department students of Jining University who stood out. What did this indicate? It highlighted the exceptional faculty and educational standards of Jining University. Particularly, Zheng Enki's professional instructors had already participated in interviews with several local media outlets. When Zheng Enki enrolled, she was merely a contestant in the Happy Voice competition, yet many regarded her as a campus star. Now, having secured the national championship, her status had undergone a dramatic transformation. Whenever she appeared, she was inevitably surrounded by fans seeking autographs and photographs. For the first time, Zheng Enki experienced the profound changes in life that come with stardom. As a public figure, she now found herself living a life distinct from that of ordinary students. Every time she steps out, it is imperative for her to disguise herself. After finally navigating the demands of her superiors and classmates, Zheng Enki returned to her dormitory at 4 in the afternoon. In a hurry, she called Chun Xiao. Hello, senior, I'm back at school. Oh, have you finished your work? Yes, do you have time? I would like to treat you to dinner tonight. Chun Xiao glanced at the time. I'm free before 7. I have a flight to Lijiang at 8. Zheng Enki hesitated for a moment, then replied, All right, let us make it 6. What do you like to eat? I'll make the reservation. Chun Xiao chuckled. Don't worry about it. I'll handle the arrangements. Being the national champion has certainly changed things for you at school. Hasn't it? Indeed, I feel somewhat constrained now. Chun Xiao remarked. To wear the crown, one must bear its weight. Just wait at school. I'll come and get you. He sounds great. Thank you, senior. See you soon. The enthusiasm of her classmates at Jining University for Zheng Enki was bound to last for quite some time. At the base of Building 6, a group of people frequently gathered, hoping to catch a glimpse of Zheng Enki. Even her roommates were different from before, pulling her aside for autographs and photographs, which took quite some time before they settled down. Before long, Chun Xiao's convoy arrived. He had no intention of getting out of the car. Thus, he was driving a 600, making it impossible for anyone outside to see in. 2 Land Rovers followed behind. When they reached the base of Building 6, Chun Xiao noticed another 600 in front of him. He couldn't help but feel puzzled. It was uncommon to see such luxury cars on campus. After calling Zheng Enki, within 10 minutes, she rushed down, bundled up tightly. It was clear she lacked experience. Her overly conspicuous disguise was not fooling anyone. Almost immediately, she was recognized by fans and surrounded. Zheng Enki felt flustered, lacking the experience to handle such a situation, and for a moment, she was quite flustered. Chun Xiao, feeling helpless, was just about to send his bodyguard to escort her over when a middle-aged man stepped out of the front 600, holding a bouquet of flowers. He approached Zheng Enki directly. Upon seeing him, Zheng Enki was momentarily taken aback. This gentleman had pursued her for quite some time, despite her clear refusals. However, for a wealthy and idle tycoon, a young girl's rejection only fueled his competitive spirit and possessiveness. Enki, congratulations on winning the championship. Instantly, the fans who had come for autographs transformed into mere onlookers, parting to make way for the middle-aged man. Zheng Enki glanced at Chun Xiao's convoy, maintaining her distance, and politely said, Thank you, but I cannot accept. My boyfriend is waiting for me. Goodbye. With that, she seized the opportunity to dash towards Chun Xiao's vehicle. The middle-aged man turned to look at Chun Xiao's convoy, slightly taken aback. Soon after, gossip about Zheng Enki began to circulate. On her first day back at school, Zheng Enki was confessed to by a wealthy man. What kind of sparks will fly between the campus star and the middle-aged tycoon? Zheng Enki rejected the man in the Mercedes, only to hop into another Mercedes shortly after. With so many varied speculations, the rumors ran rampant. The more popular one becomes, the more controversies arise. Any little incident involving Zhang Enki would be sensationalized in a headline news. In this era, the news is often directed in such a manner. Chen Zhao's convoy gradually departed. The middle-aged tycoon furrowed his brow slightly, glanced at the flowers in his hand, and silently retreated into his car, driving away as well. Zhang Enki sat in the back seat, fanning herself with her small hands, truly feeling the heat. Chen Xiao smiled faintly. Lu Ge, could you lower the air conditioning a bit? Certainly, boss. Zhang Enki then added, Senior, I haven't made an appointment with that person. Chen Xiao nodded. Had it not been for his presence, Zhang Enki would not have been exposed to such a broader horizon. At this moment, she would likely still be a mere third-place contender, while that man, 15 years her senior, would undoubtedly lead her into the halls of matrimony. 8 years later, they would finally divorce. Of course, all of this transpired in a previous life. Zhang Enki's fate had been irrevocably altered the moment she claimed the title of champion in a happy female voice competition. Seeing Chen Xiao merely nod, a hint of anxiety crept into Zhang Enki's heart. Could it be that Senior misunderstood? Senior, it's true, she said. Chen Xiao smiled and replied, I certainly believe you. I know that man. Huh, you know him? Well, not too well, Chen Xiao stated. In truth, he was quite familiar with him. Lang, the founder of a well-known software website, was among the first wave of individuals to prosper in the internet industry. A few years prior, he sold his company for $50 million, setting a record in the website company transaction market. This became a hot topic at the time. However, Chen Xiao was unaware of Lang He's subsequent endeavors. He resurfaced in the news due to his divorce from Zhang Enki. When Chen Xiao mentioned not knowing him well, Zhang Enki didn't press further and, with her clear, bright eyes, asked, Senior, what would you like to eat? Let me treat you. Chen Xiao turned and smiled slightly. If you're treating me, it must be something exquisite. How about seafood? I've heard abalone is quite good. Chapter 270. Lijiang girls in this era had yet to be tainted by the onslaught of the mobile internet age, making them relatively more innocent. Since Chen Xiao had suggested it, Zhang Enki readily agreed. The two arrived at a private seafood kitchen, reserved a room, and ordered an abundance of dishes. Naturally, the abalone was exceptionally tender. For some reason, Zhang Enki felt that Senior's gaze was rather intense. Ahem, Senior, she said. Huh. Chen Xiao came back to his senses. The most beautiful neighbor girl was not merely a compliment. Her pure and bashful demeanor ensnared one's gaze, making it difficult to escape. Are you still enjoying the food? Ah, yes, it's quite good. Oh, since learning of Chen Xiao's identity, Zhang Enki found herself somewhat constrained in his presence. Enki, Zhang Enki gazed at Chen Xiao with her clear, bright eyes. I'll arrange for a car and driver for you, to make things more convenient. Ah, no need. That's too extravagant. Chen Xiao waved his hand. Ultimately, you are an artist under my company, while you create value for the company. It is only natural that we address your living arrangements, allowing you to focus solely on generating income for me. Okay, understood, Senior. Chen Xiao pondered for a moment and called out, Someone, bring the item inside. Soon, his bodyguard entered with a box, which Chen Xiao placed before Zhang Enki. This is for you. At that moment, Zhang Enki felt her heart race and her cheeks flush. She even began to fantasize. Could it be an engagement ring? If my senior proposes, should I accept? What is the legal age for marriage? If I happen to have a baby during university, it seems the school wouldn't penalize me, right? Enki? Enki? What? Zhang Enki snapped back to reality. Chen Xiao chuckled. What are you daydreaming about? Oh, I'm just being silly, thinking about all these random things. I'm fine. Thank you, Senior. No need to be polite. Open it and see. All right. With a heart full of joy, Zhang Enki eagerly opened the box, only to find not a diamond ring, but a key. Instantly, a multitude of thoughts flooded her mind. Could this be a key to my senior's home? Is he suggesting we live together? Is this what they call an unspoken rule? What should I do? Should I agree? Chen Xiao, bemused, remarked, What are you staring at the key for? Zhang Enki, interrupted from her reverie, looked up in confusion. Chen Xiao continued, This is a key to a villa in Binhuiyuan. As an artist under the company, this is provided as your temporary accommodation. Just take it. Why are you blushing? Zhang Enki exclaimed, So that's how it is. How embarrassing. She quickly grasped the key and thanked her senior. Chen Xiao replied, No need for thanks. Hurry and eat. I have a flight to catch. Given Zhang Enki's current fame, it was indeed unsuitable for her to continue residing on campus.